By the end of this video, I'm going to teach you 5 quick tips to make sure you have the perfect LinkedIn profile photo. I'm Tanya from The Office, and let's talk about what not to do first. Let's look at the top example. This is really crisp photography, great smile and energy, but it's in black and white. On LinkedIn, they recommend non-black and white photography. Let's move over to the right. In this case, this guy is great energy, clean background, color photography, but he's laughing. For LinkedIn profile photos, they recommend smiling, not laughing. And in fact, I'll show you a little tip to make sure your smile is the best smile possible. Next, I love the bold colors, to be honest. I think depending on your industry, it could absolutely work, but he's got the earphones in and he's looking away. I'm sure this would look awesome on Instagram, but for LinkedIn, they recommend looking directly forward. Now this guy here, super cool photograph again, but for your LinkedIn profile, unless you're the CEO of a company that makes sunglasses, this is definitely not ideal. He's looking away, he's not smiling, and he's covering his eyes with sunglasses. You want to be careful about the accessories. No hats, no sunglasses. As a general rule of thumb, think about what you would wear inside an office. Now over here, beautiful photograph, crisp, nice background, but she's wearing a strappy top. Now there's nothing wrong with strappy tops. However, for this kind of profile photo and with what's shown, it doesn't come across as professional. So you want to be careful about showing excessive skin. Even if you're a surfer, throw a tank top on for this. And lastly, on the other end of the spectrum, you also don't want to wear too many layers. Again, think about what you would wear inside an office. Now, all of these tips are kind of flexible. It depends on your industry, on who you're trying to connect with. So you want to make sure that you're keeping that in mind. If you're in a very casual industry, then you don't need a suit or you don't need a suit and tie. But what you always need is sharp photography, good lighting, and energy, which means smiling and looking directly at the camera. Kind of like this example of yours truly. Now, to be honest, when I took this picture, I was standing in front of my kitchen. So you don't have to necessarily pay for professional photography with a good background. You can also use software to clean it up or crop out things that are distracting. So now you know what not to do. Let's talk about the rule of thirds. So this is one of the basic photography principles, but not everybody knows how to apply it for profile photos. Now the way this works, and I'll be honest, this drove me crazy when I first learned about it because I like everything centered. However, our eyes are not drawn to centered things. I had no idea. So what your eyes are drawn to are these 4 points. So by using the rule of thirds, you want to make sure that your photograph, that one of your eyes is lined up with one of the 2 cross sections. It's a great way to make sure that in the small virtual real estate that you have of your profile photo, you make the most of it and you draw attention wherever possible. Now let's take a look at how this looks when you're actually on LinkedIn. Look at that. Even LinkedIn knows the value of the rule of thirds. Now with the dimensions of my photo, I actually couldn't line up this eye over here. It cropped off my head. So I tried to align the other eye. It's not perfect, but it's as close as I could get it with the photo that I had. And to be honest, it looks great. So this is how you apply the rule of thirds when you upload your LinkedIn photo. And while we're here, take a look at why we stress out about the background. It's such a small area. If you have a lot of stuff in the background, even if it's blurred, it can be a distraction. So you want to be mindful of how tiny this area is. Make sure the background complements your skin tone or your accessories. Anything you can do to make your photo pop is a plus. All right, I told you it was quick tips. So just to recap, have a clean background. So this means not a lot of distraction. I personally love a white background or a bold color. Maybe that's part of your branding, but just make sure it's not busy. Next, smile with your teeth. Ooh, I promised you a tip. Okay, so going back to this photo, when you're smiling, it's recommended to just notice here that my mouth is just a tiny bit open. So it's not as much as being mid-laugh. Now this feels slightly awkward when you're taking the picture, but it translates really well. It adds a little more energy. I would say like 20% more energy just by opening your mouth a tiny bit. So that's your smiling with teeth tip. And of course, if you're self-conscious about your teeth or that's not something you feel comfortable with, find a way to smile. Just make sure that that smiling energy reaches your eyes. Have you ever seen a photo where it's like dead eyes? And that happens to a lot of us. So what you want to do is take a bunch of pictures and pick the one that conveys the most energy. Next, wear a business appropriate outfit, and this depends on your industry. If you're a lawyer, maybe suit and tie. But if you're working in tech on the West Coast, then you want to do something a little more casual. Just be mindful that it's not a print that's so busy it takes away from the attention of your face. And looking directly at the camera, again, it conveys energy, confidence, and directness. And lastly, the rule of thirds to position your eye, which we went over. This helps draw a person's attention to where it needs to be. All right, I'm Tanya from ftheoffice.com. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope these tips were helpful, but they're only helpful if you actually do them. So right now, if your LinkedIn profile isn't open, open it. Upload a photo, get this done today. I promise that it will highlight your profile and it will draw more attention to it in a positive way. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, but hit the notification bell because we have lots of surprise live videos coming up, and that way you'll be the first to know. If you want more tips and tools to be an amazing virtual freelancer, go to ftheoffice.com.